Well, hello there. We're back to reading our chapter book. 8 class pets, 1 squirrel divided by 1 dog equals chaos. Well, we are seeing some chaos in this story for sure. We are seeing a squirrel who seems to be experiencing the most chaos. Or at this point, it's more like nervousness and he's very, very afraid, correct? So we've read 4 chapters. We've met 4 different characters. We've met Twitch, who is the adventurous squirrel, the curious squirrel, the happy squirrel. We've met Green Eggs and Hamster, the first grade hamster. Green Eggs and Hamster loves to run his wheel and loves to maybe sneak out of his cage every now and again and leave little poopies that the kids have to clean up. Well, he likes to just get out and explore, right? But he has a 2-leveled cage, and he loves that so much. And his friend he's friends with our squirrel friend, Twitch. They sit and they talk in the afternoons, and they get along very well. And then, of course, we have our Lucy Cottontail, who isn't the biggest fan of Twitch, but she does help Twitch out, sends him across to the Sweetie, the rat that lives in the library. And Sweetie the rat helps Twitch. In fact, the last thing that happened was Sweetie let Twitch in her cage, and the dog kept jumping up on the table and finally made it to the table and ended up pushing the cage that had Twitch and Sweetie in it off of the table. And that's where our story ended. Sweetie yelled to Twitch, "Run!" And so now I'm predicting that the 2 of them are going to run to, I don't even know where. We're going to find that out next. We are going to be reading chapter 5, and we're going to find out what's going on. Now, the setting in our story is, do you remember where they all are? They are at a school, right? And they're going from classroom to classroom. So the setting keeps changing. The characters we keep learning or meeting new characters and more characters. And we keep getting to see the different sides of the characters. Like, for instance, Twitch is very scared right now, and so is Sweetie the rat, who, so bravely let Twitch in the cage. And now this very excited dog that's chasing the Twitch the squirrel is now like super, super into it and has jumped up on the table because this dog means business. And the cage has been knocked off to the floor. This chapter is called A School of Neon Tetras. Tetras are a type of fish. And there's a digraph at the end of fish. And you're right, it's quiet girl. Good job. Neon means they kind of glow, or they're really, really bright, correct? And they like to say that fish like to swim in schools of fish. So if you've ever seen fish at a aquarium, or maybe you've gone snorkeling somewhere and you might come upon fish, you might see more than one fish swimming together. And the reason they call it a school of fish is because it looks like they're trying to stay together like you would in a school. Just like how we're staying together, even though we're at home, we are meeting together, staying together, and we get to see all of our friends during our meets, the friends that can join, and then we read chapter books together, and that's super duper cool. We're enjoying it a lot. So here we go. A School of Neon Treats, a Tetras, 3rd grade fish. We are in a school. We are in a school in a school. We are tickled by that idea. It sounds like these Tetras are silly and happy. The people who come to look at us call us Neon Tetras. We don't know about that. We just know that we are. Each of us has bright blue stripes and bright red stripes. Actually, we shine in the dark. We are very, very beautiful. Every one of us would be very beautiful. But we aren't one. We are a school of neon tetras. So there they are. They're swimming together in a school. We live in the water, of course. We didn't understand how other creatures live out of the water. We still don't understand. We didn't, and we still don't. We don't get how they breathe the air, but some of these creatures just do. Our water is surrounded by glass that gives it a square shape. Our home, where we go to school and swim in the school, is a square shape. Living in the water with us are some plants and a catfish. The catfish eats the slime off the sides of the glass. She does not have blue stripes. She does not have red stripes. She is not beautiful like us, and she doesn't have much to say. But boy, does she keep our water clean. We don't know what we would do without her. Sharing the water with us, but not living, is a shipwreck, which means a boat that fell to the bottom of the water, and a miniature man with a treasure chest that opens and closes. In the treasure chest, there are sparkly gems. On the floor of our square pond are sparkly stones. Neither the gems nor the stones are as sparkly as we are, though. They sure are pretty, but not as beautiful as we are. We dart back and forth in our glass-enclosed pond, and we go around the shipwreck. We are a school. Outside of the glass that forms the boundary of our pond is a man who feeds us fish flakes and frozen brine shrimp. Yum! Frozen brine shrimp. There are also little men out there who press their face against our glass. Our man who feeds us calls these little men boys and girls. He says to them, "Boys and girls, do not tap on the glass. Do not lean on the cart and make it move." Sometimes they do anyway when the man is not looking. When they do this, press on the cart that is, we dart back and forth, even when they push their faces against the glass. Our favorite part of the day is global studies. The globe, the little men study, is a big round thing that shows the world. Most of the world is water. We love water. That idea tickles us too. So, beyond our pond, there is the room with the man and the little men and the globe. Beyond that, there is more glass, which they call windows. Beyond that glass is the world. And now we have seen on the globe that most of this world is made of water. One of the air breathers who sometimes looks in through the windows is a creature that calls himself a squirrel. One day, the squirrel came swimming through the air into our room. He came with another creature, a small white creature with a long pink tail. But they were not in a school because they were not the same. They looked different for sure. They did not look the same. They did not move the same. They did not sound the same. The squirrel said, "Help! The dog is going to eat us." We said, "There is protection in a school." The second creature, the one who was not a squirrel, put his ear up to the glass that protects us from the air. We said again, so that he could hear, "There is protection in a school." The non-squirrel repeated this for the squirrel. The squirrel said, "What?" We said, "When you swim in a school, only some get eaten, while the rest stay safe. You need to find a school." When his friend told him this, the squirrel said, "Neither one of us wants to get eaten." A creature bigger than either of them came into the room. Bigger often eat smaller. Uh-oh, we thought. This big creature said, "Stop running, you sorry waste of fur." The squirrel darted in one direction, and the squirrel's friend darted in another. "In a school," we told them. The big, noisy creature followed the squirrel, knocking into one of the desks where, during the day, one of those little men sits. The desk tipped over, and books and papers fell out, making a mess everywhere. The big, noisy creature continued to follow the squirrel. The big, noisy creature had something trailing from him, the way sometimes a crab will have seaweed trailing from itself. This long trail was long and white, and it got wrapped around things, and it knocked over a big plant by the man's desk. Dirt and leaves fell out everywhere. Another mess. The big, noisy creature tried to follow the squirrel up onto the man's desk, and that sent more books and papers and pencils onto the floor. Oh, no! A picture of the man's family fell as well, and his souvenir mug from Marineland, which looks like a wondrous place. Lots of things were falling on the floor. Lots of things were making a mess. The squirrel went up the stand that holds the globe, but then he stepped onto the globe. Oh my goodness, I wonder what's going to happen. Here's the dog chasing Twitch. Papers are flying. Here's the long thing, the long strand behind the dog that keeps getting caught on things and making things fall. And oh my goodness, what chaos, right? But then the squirrel stepped onto the globe. The globe spun. The squirrel spun. The squirrel flew through the air and landed on the big, noisy creature's head. The big, noisy creature was so startled. He made his own water right there on the floor. Imagine that, making your own water. I think he peed. The squirrel and his friend darted out the door. "In a school," we called after them. The big, noisy creature followed them. But the long white thing that was not seaweed must have gotten wrapped around the cart that makes our pond move, the cart that the little men are not supposed to lean on. We began to move, dragged along by the big, noisy creature. Our pond swayed and bumped behind him as he ran. We continued to swim, safe, in a school, in a school. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? So now the dog is chasing Twitch and what was the rat's name? Sweetie. And they went into the third grade room with the neon tetras, the fish, who kept saying, "There is protection in a school." And the squirrel and Sweetie did not, or Twitch and the squirrel did not, Twitch and Sweetie did not know what that meant. So now the dog has managed to wrap the leash as he was chasing around the cart that holds the aquarium where the tetras live. He's wrapped that leash around it, and now the dog is running with his leash wrapped around the cart. So the cart is following along, and Twitch the squirrel and Sweetie the rat are running, running, running. This is major chaos. Would you agree with me? I would agree 100% with me if I were you, because this sounds crazy and confusing, and just really like so much is going on through this whole chase scene. I'm so glad that we got to read together again today. I'm checking out to see how long our chapter is going to be tomorrow. Oh, I'm so excited. But you know what? I'm going to put the book down and away. Actually, Austin usually takes the book from me because it seems that I like to read the book so much, or try to sneak the book, because I'm not supposed to read it without you. And sometimes it's time to cook dinner instead. So I need to put the book away so that I can make sure we are prepared for dinner tonight. Anyway, I am so glad we had this opportunity to read together. I love reading. It's just like you love listening. And if you were listening to the story, you are creating these visuals in your brain. It's called visualization. That's helping you understand the story more. You're making your own pictures because that's what a chapter book is about. It's about making your own pictures in your brain. And you can do that because you are good readers, you're good thinkers, and making visuals, even when you're listening to a picture book, is still good because that means you're thinking about what you're hearing. And thinking about what you're hearing and thinking about your reading is what a good reader does. So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to go on my way, just like you're going to go on your way. Continue with your day, wherever you might be in your day. I hope you have a wonderful day of learning. I hope you have a wonderful day of playing. I hope you have a wonderful day of being with your family. And I'm going to give you a big virtual hug. You know, I always purse my lips. I always go, and I make a noise when I hug you virtually. I'm going, and I want you to remember that our positive saying that we say about ourselves, and that is, I am smart, I am kind, I am honest, I am silly, I am brave, I am loved. Go about your day. Have a good one. Make the most of everything. See you soon.